If you've been following along, this month we have been talking about communication that connects. That's our theme, right? And this is our final episode. Today, I want to get into one of the most common and frustrating problems that I see couples experience in their communication. And this is one that, don't get me wrong, Cal and I have absolutely gotten stuck in the past, and that since we have learned has created so much freedom and ease in our communication, and I want you to have that too. So here's the challenge, right? You think that when you're communicating that you want to understand, right? You want to understand your partner or you want to be understood by your partner. But the truth is, you really don't. If we look under the surface, if we really take a hard, radical, honest, revolutionary look at what's really going on for most of us most of the time when we think we're trying to understand or be understood, that's not what's really what we really desire. When we think that we're listening to get our partner, we think that we really want them to get us. Most of the time, what's actually happening is something different. And that's what we're going to get into today. So, welcome, my friends, to another Catalyst conversation in the relationship revolution, where we challenge the unquestioned assumptions about love, like just trying to understand. And we flip the script on what's been taught, reveal the truths that no one's taught you. Today, we're diving into what I believe is quite dangerous illusion, that we're trying to understand each other when really what we're looking for is to agree. This conversation might challenge you. It might make you uncomfortable. And as always, my love, it might just set you free. Before we get into the good stuff, I want to take a minute to introduce myself for those of you who may be new to me or my work. My name is Dr. Jenny Wallig. I am an award-winning relationship mentor, speaker, author, educator, and I'm a disruptor. I am here to challenge the shit that's no longer working to make the world a better place through more conscious and evolved relationships. Alongside my partner and soulmate, Calvin O'Seely, I'm the co-founder of Powerful Love Relationships and the co-creator of our 3-pillar Powerful Love Method, a proven approach to saving, healing, and improving your relationship, even if your partner's not doing the work with you. In this work and in this conversation, we're not just about fixing or improving conversation. We are here to help you redefine what's possible in relationships, how you navigate problems, solutions, and love. We are here to empower you, fellow visionary, to create a love that fills your heart and fuels your dreams. Ready? Let's get into it. Okay. So most fights that we have are not about facts, right? They're about our feelings. They're about our interpretations of the world. But when we communicate with our partner, or when we're hearing our partner, we're looking to get the facts right. We're looking to come to some objective reality that we both agree on, right? How do I make this make sense? When we say, I want to understand, what we often mean is we want to have it make sense. We want to make it make sense in our own minds. And that is not the same as understanding. That, my friend, is agreement. Agreement is about seeing things the same exact way, right? That my picture matches your picture. We agree. That's not understanding. Understanding is, I'm getting ahead of myself, but understanding is looking at another person's picture and oh, I understand what you were getting at. This is my picture. Can you understand what I'm getting at? That's understanding. It's very different. We conflate these two so often. We assume that understanding equals agreement. The point of communication, y'all, is understanding, not agreement. Okay. That's the whole point. It's for connection, it's to understand one another, because in that understanding, when we actually understand another person's reality, the picture they colored, what they were going after, then we have the information we need to collaboratively resolve problems or connect deeper or repair more effectively or create change. Like all the things that we want from communication are only possible when we have understanding. So if you find that you are needing your partner to agree with you, to change their picture so that it matches yours, to say, "You're right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. You're right. I'm accepting your perspective as my perspective." That you're not listening to connect. You're not speaking to connect. You're speaking and listening to win, to agree. And that misunderstanding, that power struggle that so often happens in our relationships is is 100% going to destroy your ability to feel close, and it's going to make your communication harder. It's going to make conflict a lot more likely, and that is why this is so incredibly important. Let me tell you a story about one of the clients we worked with. This is a real story. I'm changing their names to help protect their privacy. We're going to call them Jane and Leah. Now, Leah didn't want Jane to spend so much time playing soccer with her friends. One of the reasons was because there was an injury in the past that happened in the relationship between Jane and Leah within the context of soccer. So for Leah, soccer didn't feel like a safe place. And so Leah couldn't understand why Jane would want to keep playing soccer, right? Like why would she keep going knowing that it's uncomfortable for her? Why would Leah prioritize her friends and her social time over her family and her marriage? But Jane couldn't understand why Leah wouldn't support her in going, because Jane had done a lot of work to repair the injury, to invest in the marriage, to show how in it she was. She had done so much, put so much energy in, and things had gotten so much better. So why couldn't Leah just support her? But what each of them really wanted was not for the other person to understand or to even understand their wife themselves. What they really wanted was to agree. Leah wanted Jane to not go to soccer. Leah wanted Jane to see Leah's comfort and family time as more important than friends and social time, because that's how Leah would feel. That's how she would do it if the situation was reversed. But Jane's not Leah, just like you're not your partner. Jane, on the other hand, wanted Leah to agree that friend time and soccer time was okay to have and was safe for her to do, because there was so much evidence, so much proof that she wasn't going to fuck up again, right? And Jane wanted Leah to not be uncomfortable, to just support it. That wasn't either of their truths. These two women were different. They held different perspectives, different beliefs, different priorities. They connected different dots. They would make different situations given the same context. That didn't mean that they didn't love or support one another. It just meant that they were different and they weren't going to agree on the best way to handle it. But when they understood that this was just a difference, and that their goal was to understand one another and where the other person was coming from, not to agree, not to convince the other person to take their side, now they could move into a deeper level of understanding where they could compromise and collaborate. They were communicating a lot more effectively with a lot more connection, because they knew what was really on the table, and they were making sense of it as, this is how we're different. I don't agree. I wish you would agree with me. And that was still real and fair. But given that you're different and I can understand why you're seeing things that way, here's what I need. What can we do about it to help ensure both of our needs are getting met and that they're both feeling loved and supported? And that's what they were able to do. They had to move away from agreement to deep understanding. And now the problem that they had been stuck on for so long could actually move forward. So here are three shifts I want you to get about this, guys. Number one, understanding is not the same as agreement, y'all. You can completely understand another person without agreeing with them. Real understanding means that you're stepping into their world, that you are seeing and believing their experience through their eyes, even if within your own way of making sense of the world, like it doesn't make sense. You can see how in their way of seeing in the world, because you understand that they connect this dot with that dot and you wouldn't do the same, but they did, that's how they arrived at that decision or that conclusion or that story, that perception, right? You can see how they got from point A to point B, even if you would never have gone to point B or taken a whole different route to get there, right? You don't have to be the same people. The point here is to be able to map in your own mind your partner's experience. You're going to have two maps inside your head, okay? Not just one, not just how would I see things, what does this mean to me, but how do they see things? What would this mean to them? And the more you build that love map, that reality map of your partner, the easier communication is going to be, the easier connection is going to be, the easier it is going to be to understand and anticipate how they're going to respond and respond to them and love them. Like, y'all, this is revolutionary. This is game changing. Build a map and keep refining it of your partner's world, the way they experience it, not the way that you do. That, my friend, is understanding. Okay. Truth number two, shift number two. We say, I don't understand. I don't understand I don't understand why you would do that. I don't understand. But what we often mean is, I disagree. What we mean is, you have not convinced me that your way of seeing the world is the right or objectively correct way of seeing the world. So I want you to be cautious of this. When you say, I'm trying to understand, are you really trying to map their world? Or are you hoping or waiting or expecting them to convince you, to persuade you that their way of seeing the world, their decision, their perspective is right? Are you waiting for it to click in to you and be like, oh, okay, yeah, now I see, now I would make the same decision. Now I would do it your way? Because that's not understanding, that's agreement. And that's not the point. Okay. Remember, like there's the flip side of this, y'all, is if you are asking your partner to understand you, pay attention. Are you actually wanting them to understand you, or are you desiring for them to agree? Right? We're often craving validation. And it's okay to be validating, by the way. Bonus tip. Validation does not mean agreement. Yesterday, I wanted Cal to validate me. I was feeling like a bad business owner. It was a primal thought. I was in a primal state, and I was like, part of me is telling myself that we're bad business owners. And he dismissed that by saying, "Well, we're not," and then trying to convince me that we're not. He was trying to be reassuring. But I was like, I just wanted acknowledgement. I just wanted validation. He's like, I don't want to validate that because it's not true. I'm like, dude, remember, validation does not mean agreement. It doesn't have to be true. Validation means you can understand why I might feel that way, that my feelings are not crazy. It does not mean that my feelings are correct. Okay. Right. Validating me in that moment would have been just like, oh, I can understand, given how frustrating this conversation about our business has been, why it might feel that way. That's validating. Doesn't mean he agrees, y'all. Are you getting this? Like, I'm so passionate about, are you getting how and why? This is such a profound and liberating and game-changing distinction that we so often confuse, right? We're here to connect. We're here to understand. We are not communicating to convert our partner to our side. We are not listening in hopes to be converted and stubbornly like standing there. Well, no, I'm not converted yet. You haven't convinced me, so I don't understand. You're not fucking trying to. You just want to agree. And you don't mean to, okay? I'm soften a little bit here. Cuz really like we do the same thing, Cal and I. Sometimes we're a lot better at it, which is why our communication has gotten so easy. But it still happens sometimes. We fall into this trap. This isn't conscious, my friends. This is not something that you are like you know that you are trying to be convinced. You know that you are looking for agreement. It just happens under the surface because no one has taught us this shit. How to distinguish between what real understanding is or even talks. Have you ever heard a conversation where we talk about what real understanding is? Probably not. Probably this is the first time. I'm trying to think, have I ever heard a conversation? I don't think that anybody ever talked to me about this. I think I just finally like figured it out. Gottman talks about how the point of communication is understanding and not agreement. So there were seeds planted there, but I didn't think I really got it until I got it. And I'm hoping that in listening to me today, you're getting this. Okay. Third shift. And I know I can talk long and my videos have been getting longer and longer. I'm going to try to put it back together. Concise, Jenny, concise. Okay. So we've talked about the goal of communication is understanding, not agreement. I want to give you another way of thinking about this. The goal of connecting communication is shared humanity, not shared conclusions. Let that sink in. I'm going to say it again. The goal of communication that connects is shared humanity, not shared conclusions. You can say, I get why this matters to you without saying, you're right and I was wrong. That is real listening. That is real connection. And if we both or all, right? No matter like in any communication scenario, if your commitment is to real listening, real connection, real understanding, mapping someone else's world from their perspective, even if it looks nothing like your world. Our communication, our shared humanity, our ability to attune, to help someone feel seen and heard is going to expand so beautifully. And there is nothing like the gift of feeling seen and understood. That does not come from agreement. That comes from someone mapping your world. And listen, the best and fastest way to get more of what we desire is to learn how to give it first, is to learn how to lead our relationships, to lead the dance, to direct the communication patterns and processes, to demonstrate and model what this can look like. So if you want your partner to be able to map your world, friend, you got to learn how to do it yourself. Make that your mission. That's where your power is. Okay? But imagine what can happen when you do. Imagine you and your partner feeling safe sharing whatever it is you need to share without holding back, even when you disagree. Imagine not feeling like you have to walk on eggshells when you talk about like anything. Not having to walk away from conversations feeling stuck or resentful or like you lost. Imagine building so much trust and safety and security in your relationship because you know that your partner gets you. And having it so easy, so much easier because you really deeply get them. not just because you agree with them, but even when you don't agree with them, you get them and they get you. That is what is possible when you master this. Conversations stop being a tug of war. You stop communicating or fighting to win, but instead you start learning to understand. Your partner starts feeling safer opening up because they're not being judged or being fixed. You start feeling safer opening up because you know and trust that there's going to be collaboration to reach mutual understanding. There's going to be less tension, and then you're both going to have the real information that you need to resolve or to change or to connect. And you stop waiting for like this, what is so often impossible agreement, because y'all are two very different people, no matter who you are. I know your partner's different from you, right? You stop needing that in order to feel close with them. You get to just choose connection every single time, even if you don't agree. And that's powerful. That is revolutionary, if you ask me. If you are a part of the relationship revolution, we're going to do an exercise this week that helps you to recognize whether you're secretly seeking agreement in your communication, and then shows you how to shift into true relational listening. So if you're part of the program, don't miss this week's activation, okay? Because and we do this in the relationship revolution program, because we know that like this learning, as powerful and hopefully aha inspiring as it may be for you, it does us no good unless we're applying it, right? Real transformation happens when the information moves from our head into our beingness, and that only happens through practice. If you're not a part of it, the relationship revolution group yet, and you're ready to break your cycles of disconnection, start having conversations that really create closeness, clarity, connection, you're ready to take your relationship to the next level and become the best version of yourself, the best relational leader, the best partner that you can possibly be, even if your partner's not doing the work with you, you need to be in this room, okay? The founding member rate is still available. There is a link to join the Relationship Revolution in the description of this Catalyst conversation. I have one more invitation today that I think I'm going to be including every week, because this is something that I want to be doing consistently. If you are the kind of woman who is already a leader, a visionary, a change maker in this world, and you know that you would love to have a clear, proven path to making your relationship align with the kind of love and life that you deserve and desire, better relationship, an easier relationship, and a relationship that is your greatest source of energy and support, then I want to invite you to register for my new free masterclass, Next Level Love, Next Level Life. I also put this link in the description. I've been getting amazing feedback about this masterclass. I'm going to keep doing it and doing it more. So we are going to have this masterclass on Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, and I want you to be there. So check out the description above or below this video to get the link, register, and I will see you in the room next Thursday. That's it for today's Catalyst conversation. I hope that this helped unlock something powerful for you. I will look forward to seeing you live next Friday and every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Until then,